Welcome, and thank you for joining us for today's DealerOn webinar, How to Unify Your SEO and SEM to Increase Leads and Sales. My name is Eliana Raggio, and I'll be your moderator today. And today's webinar is being presented by DealerOn. For anyone who isn't familiar with DealerOn, well, we're an award-winning website development company and digital agency, best known for our amazing SEO, the absolute best customer service, and the highest converting website designs in the industry, including the award-winning Chameleon responsive website platform. We're so committed to lead conversion, optimization, and customer service that DealerOn is still the only company in this industry to offer a money-back lead guarantee program. Does your website company guarantee you a 50% lift in leads or your money back? Maybe you should check us out at our gorgeous brand new DealerOn website at DealerOn.com. And we have a great show in store for you today. We're very pleased to have Dave Sponicky as our presenter today. Dave Sponicky is the president and founder of Reunion Marketing, a full-service digital marketing agency specializing in delivering best-in-industry solutions to automotive dealerships across the country. Dave spent 10 years working with a 33-store dealership group in North Carolina. While there, he created digital strategies that increased website traffic and lead volume by more than 400%, contributing towards sales growth, and outpaced the local market by approximately 600% the last 3 years he was there. He continues to utilize the same data-driven strategies based on in-market shopping behavior and search trends to create the same success for his partners at Reunion Marketing. Dave can be reached at dave@reunionmarketing.com. Now, during the presentation, if you have any questions, please use the question feature located on the corner of your screen to submit them. At the end of the presentation, we'll answer those questions of general interest. If we're unable to get to your question live, we'll try to respond by email later today. Also, don't forget, a link to download a copy of this webinar recording will also be emailed to you later today for your reference, and please feel free to share it with your friends and colleagues. And guess what? Our good friends at Reunion Marketing, they're giving away a tremendous prize on today's webinar. One of you lucky webinar attendees is going to win an Amazon Echo. It is so cool. Seriously, your life is never going to be the same once you get one of these bad boys. You have to be on the live broadcast to win it, though. So stay tuned, and who knows, you could be the one walking away with this awesome prize today. Hey, at the conclusion of this webinar, you're going to get a short survey, so please fill it out because we're always looking for quality feedback from our audience, and we want your opinion to be heard. And hey, do you tweet much? We hope you do. We'd love to see what you have to say about today's presentation, so please tag us in it. You can use hashtag DealerOnWebby. I'm at Eliana Raggio. You can also hit up Dave Sponicky at Reunion Marketing. We look forward to seeing what you're saying. So let's get started. Let's learn all about how to unify your SEO and SEM to increase leads and sales. David, how are you today?
Hey, doing really good. Thanks for having me on again.
Oh, thank you so much for being here. It's funny, I was mentioning to somebody earlier this week that this is the first time in all the years that I've done webinars that I've had 3 Davids in a row. I've never had 3 Davids in a row, but you're my 3rd David in this month, so thank you so much for setting yet another first for the DealerOn webinars. Now,
was it David Kane last week? Who was the David before?
I had David Kane last week. I had David Metter the week before.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
3 Davids in a row. So, and you know what? They did an excellent job, and I expect you to just round out our month of Davids and make it an incredible August for us. So thank you so much. And audience, let me just tell you, I got a sneak peek at his deck. It is killer. So make sure you take very good notes, pay great attention. He's got some amazing stuff to show you today. And before we go any further, hey, David, why don't you tell everyone the kinds of awesomeness that you're going to be dropping on them in the next hour?
Yeah, well, I mean, got a lot of information here, a number of slides, and I'm going to jump right into it just because we have limited time, and I want to make sure that there's room for questions. So we're going to be talking about really what the purpose of SEO and SEM are. We're going to be talking about how to identify what that search demand is in your market, how to build a strategy incorporating SEO and SEM best practices based on that search demand. And then we're going to talk about measuring conversion and optimizing traffic as we get more people coming to our websites, more people shopping our sites. How do we get them to better convert, better turn into leads and opportunities for the dealership? And then finish up with the giveaway and some Q&A sessions. So there's a lot of stuff going on here. Again, thanks for having me on. It's always nice to be on the DealerOn webinar series. It's one I've been watching for years. Eliana, you do a heck of a job. And the whole DealerOn team. I mean, known all you guys for about 7 or 8 years now, and helped me out a whole lot. Great partners when I was working for that 33-store group, and a big part of the success we had there. So thanks for having me on.
I love it. Thank you so much.
So before jumping in, I always like to start, every one of my presentations with, some kind of quote, relevant to what we're talking about. And this one, about data information. You can have data without information, but you can't have information without data. Data is critical. It's crucial to incorporating a good SEO strategy, a good content strategy that's going to get you in front of more and more people who are in market. And there's so much out there, and there's so many takeaways we're going to talk about today that are going to really help you increase your visibility, increase your influence online, and get more shoppers. But before jumping into all these things, Eliana, would you mind running the first poll question, because it really relates to a lot of the stuff we're going to talk about?
I would love to, Dave. All right, audience, we only have 2 poll questions for you today. The first one is on the screen now. We'd love it if you take part in our poll question. It helps us know where we're standing in the middle of the automotive industry. All right, so the question is on the screen now, as I said. Which strategy do you feel is more important to your dealership's marketing success? Please select one of the following answers. Do you feel SEO is where it's at because organic traffic is better converting and higher volume? Do you think SEM is most important because paid ads produce better quality leads for you? Do you feel that they're equally important, especially when they work together? Do you think neither of them is more important than the other because you rely on third-party sites like Edmunds or AutoTrader or Cars.com? Or is this a trick question? Aren't SEO and SEM kind of the same? Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to get to those answers in just a few minutes. Right now, we're going to wait for a majority of the votes to come in, and then we'll close the poll and share the results. So, which strategy do you feel is more important to your dealership's marketing success? And David, before we go further, I'm just curious, in your expertise, in your, on your radar, do you feel that a lot of dealerships are making their SEO and their SEM work together, or do you think that that's a problem, across dealerships?
I think it's I really look at it as being a big opportunity. We give, hundreds of, free digital analyses to folks out there, and the majority of them really look at SEO being, in competition with SEM. Like they, 2 different philosophies, and there's a lot of synergies that can be created. And that's why I'm really interested to see, what the audience says today, and then kind of talk through what those are.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Almost everyone's voted now. Audience, you guys are killing it today. Thank you so much. Let's close this poll and share the results. Okay, 8% of today's audience believe SEO is more important to their dealership's marketing success. Another 8% of today's audience feel it's SEM. But the majority, overwhelming majority, I might say, 81% think that SEO and SEM are equally important, especially when they work together. Now, no one says that they rely solely on third-party sites like Edmunds or Cars. And then 3% of today's audience believe that this might be a trick question. I don't know. So now that we have that all squared away, David, do you have any comment on this, or where should we get started from here?
No, that's actually great to hear, and a lot of the shout-outs you were saying earlier, a lot of sophisticated dealers here on the presentation today, so that's great. One of the biggest frustrations that I have is that the SEO and the SEM strategies are at odds, and for whatever reason, somebody wants to focus all their efforts on SEO, or they want to focus all their efforts on SEM, and don't let those 2 strategies talk to each other. And there's so many ways to let that happen. They're on the same team. It's not like we said before, Frazier Ali, Red Sox, Yankees, Ohio State, Michigan. It's more like Batman and Robin, and Kirk and Spock, and Bert and Ernie. We want to look at what the purpose of SEO and SEM are, and you look at the SE in the beginning of each of those acronyms, search engine, and basically what we're trying to do is, people are going into Google in volume, and they're typing in, basically, I want to buy what you have at your store to sell me. They're in demand because they're going in and saying, I want to buy a new car. I want to get my car serviced. And they're telling us that they want to buy from the stores. So what we want to do is we want to get as much influence and visibility in the search results as possible to drive more people to our site when they're typing in things like, I want to buy a new 2016 Honda Accord. Near Asheboro in this example, I pulled up a DealerOn site for a bunch of these examples of what we're talking about today. But we want to have a great positioning on the paid search side because some people are clicking there. There's a high percentage of people that click there, upwards of 20-25% in auto now with a lot of the changes people have made. But there's still a number of people that are clicking organically, and if you build a content strategy, in this particular example, we've got the top 5 listings for the dealership because they're really focused on SEO, they're really focused on SEM, and then they get creating through a robust content strategy based on data, success that dominates the search results. And so how do we do that? And it starts with, identifying what we want to go after in the first place, identifying what the search volume is in your market. And there's a number of different tools that you can use. You pick a market. Google AdWords Keyword Planner tool is one that we use all the time. That is, it's great to show you, how many average monthly searches happen in a market and what are the different keywords that are going into that. We like to use Moz, which is another great tool. SEMrush by Fu. A really basic tool that's relatively, relatively cheap for a dealer is Keyword Tool.io. And then AnswerThePublic.com is a free website. And really what we can find is, there's just an endless supply of demand data. In this example here, talking about a Honda Accord, all these different searches that are happening where it's Honda Accord A, and then a list of different terms, and Honda Accord B, and all these different things that people are typing into Google, so that we can really understand what people want to find when they're looking online. How can we help them? When we best understand what the customer experience is, then we're going to best be able to satisfy them by creating a content strategy on our website where we are building pages and building information and giving people what they want. People are asking all sorts of questions. People are asking about, the Honda Accord versus the Toyota Camry. People are asking, what is the rattling sound in my Honda Accord? Let's look at what that volume is. Let's look at how competitive some of these different queries are. And let's do some research using some of those tools that we talked about to build a content strategy so that we are seen more organically. And then let's also drive people to the same pages that we build this strategy around through paid search as well, because they're coming through one of those two channels. They're using Google, and what Google does is they reward sites that have specific content that match the search query. And I've got a couple examples throughout the presentation, and I don't want to poke fun, and I don't want it to look like that at all, but I was just in Vegas for a conference a couple weeks ago and did a quick search, to go along with this example here about Honda Accords. And I did a search, Honda Accord for sale near me in Vegas. And if you look at the top results here, you see Car Gurus, Auto Trader, Auto.com having those top 5 results, and then, the local dealership shows up in that 6th spot. And the local dealership is showing up with the homepage, and the other 5 websites all have pages that are showing up that are specific to the Honda Accord. They're again building content around that specific search query, and Google's going to reward the websites that have content built around what the user experience should be for a user. And so what we want to do is, after we've identified all these different queries and all these different terms in the market and know what people want, and we are considering user experience and giving them what they want, we build content around what that search demand is. We build new Honda Accord pages. We build pages around all of our new models. We build pages around all of our used models. Unique pages that last for years. Service pages. Anything that people are searching for in the market, build blogs, answer questions. When you do that, you start gaining that visibility because you're creating a user experience that is exactly what people are wanting and what people are searching for. But one of the frustrations here, this goober here talking about, wait, doesn't my manufacturer create pages for me? They do, but they create the same exact page for dealerships across the country, and duplicate content just doesn't rank. And you'll see this when you look, within your Google Analytics or some of your page view statistics, that these pages that are built by the manufacturer just don't show up. This particular example is from a store down in Texas, an Audi store in Texas, and we just copy and paste that very first line of paragraph into Google. you see 26,000 results come up on the side. You see an Atlanta store, you see, an Evansville store, you see a Fear store. You don't see the specific dealership that I pulled this from because every dealership has the same exact information, and Google's not going to reward people with information that's not custom and unique. And again, built around the local market, built around what the local market wants to look for. When you do that and you build an aggressive strategy that way, high search volume to low, you're going to see an increase in traffic on your website. You're going to see an increase in leads and opportunities because you're creating an experience for the users that's tailored to them, and it's tailored to them in a way that is in volume because people search for similar things, and all that information is readily available. So make that part of your strategy. And so, talking about some of the things that are frustrating within our industry, one of the things that has been brought up often is SEO is dead, SEO is gone. To which it's definitely not. You look at your traffic sources, you should have your organic traffic from Google being your primary driver of traffic to your website. If you have more traffic from paid, it means that you're probably either overspending on that or your SEO is not set up correctly. But SEO is a lot different than it used to be because you're not just hoping that your homepage will show up for 200, 300, 500 different search terms that you're going after. You got to build that content around what those search terms are, but you still got to do some of the SEO best practices. So this is just a list of things that we still got to do, and I'll give you a couple examples on some of these. We still need to do our meta tags, and like I said, an example coming on that. Let's get links from some of our charities and partnerships we have in the local community. Let's get links to our website. The more links that we have, that's still the #1 factor according to Moz in terms of the authority of your website. We'll focus on our page speed. DealerOn, again, giving you guys kudos here. You do a great job. You make that a focus. Not all website providers are like you in that. And again, kudos to you guys, but work on these things. Make sure your site's mobile friendly. Make sure you have headers and your photos are tagged. And all these different elements really dramatically increase the authority and relevance of those pages that you built around search. And it gives you such a great opportunity to get those first positions in local search and outrank the competition and increase the traffic to your website. So I'm going to give a couple quick examples though of some of these specific SEO items. This is a meta description, and basically, or meta title, meta description. Basically what that is when you do the Google search results, the meta title that you put in is that blue part, or in this case here, that purple part in the Google search result where it says special/new, and the meta description is that body copy below. We're making recommendations basically to Google that this page is about this, and here's the title of the page, and then what's the call to action to drive people to those pages. Google doesn't always use them, but largely they do when you build them in a unique and compelling way that's going to increase the likelihood that people will click and go to your page. But when you have the same meta titles and the same meta descriptions across all your pages, then Google's going to pick for you. So here's an example of a dealership down in Texas, that an Acura store that doesn't have the same or doesn't have unique meta titles and descriptions. So Google picked on the page because there's no specials on their website, which is another thing that people should always consider, always having specials on your new specials page, because it's always in the top 4 or 5 most visited pages on your site. But then Google put in the meta description here, sorry, no new specials are available at this time, please check back later. Nobody's going to click on something like that because that's certainly not the user experience that they're looking for. And then another example, the importance of creating that unique content and not keyword stuffing. Google doesn't like that anymore. Google's getting smarter all the time. They have machine learning that is powering 1/3 of what they deem relevant with, with how they show different websites up on search. But looking through a couple of these examples of some of these dealerships that we've helped out or given analyses to, and this one's a little bit funny, but it's some keyword stuffing going on. With a contemporary style that retains its classic timeless appeal, New Bern, the new Chevy Camaro is a perfect fit. Or there are a variety of engine sizes to choose from, New Bern. The Chevy Camaro offers the latest technology, and it's just kind of funny. And then we look on the side here, a finance center page, and we have highlighted all the different times that we see the word car. The dealership definitely sells cars, but when you keyword stuff like that, that's a factor that Google's going to penalize you for. You're not going to have the same kind of authority. You're not likely to show up in these things. build your body copy, build all these things, again, around user experience. If you build specific pages that match those searches, and then your body copy and all these things are built in a way that we're being educational, we're being informative, we're still selling as we're doing it, but we're talking to people, and we're not just talking to machines. The more that we talk about to specific people and we build our marketing strategy around people, the more we're going to win. And then again, page speed. I mean, kudos again to you guys and the focus you have on your sites. You know, as we go through and we build a whole lot of content for our different stores, we love working with you, Eliana, and the DealerOn team, because you have a platform that's so great for us to, you know, create a great page speed experience. But we see this is the Google developers. If you do a Google search for Google developers tool page speed, you can go and, you know, see how fast your website is. Google's great in that they tell us exactly what's wrong, how we can optimize, you know, our images, or, you know, mess with the code, compress different things, you know, leverage our browser caching. But, you know, we see dealers that have a 1 out of 100 score in Google, and Google wants you to have an 85 or higher, you know, to where you're in the green, and then you're, you know, in the cautionary zone if you're 60 and higher. But how fast is your page speed? And Google continues to make that a more and more and more important factor in how relevant you are and how likely you are to show up in searches. And they just had an algorithm change within the last month where it became, you know, increasingly important again. So, you know, what can we do to make that user experience? They're doing it for user experience too. Every time they make an algorithm change, if you just always consider as you're building your strategy, what's going to make a better user experience for the people that are using Google, you can with a high level of confidence assume that's going to be a good decision to make, and that Google's going to reward you for those things. But you know, we see a lot of 1 out of 100 is about as low as we've seen, because that is as low as you can go. But we see a lot of dealers in the 20s and 30s out of 100 on all their pages. You know, but you can create success on platforms. You know, and again, kudos to DealerOn for having such a great platform. You know, 87 out of 100, 91 out of 100. You can create those kind of results, and it's going to help you rank better. So, with a lot of those SEO ideas in mind, transitioning over to how we can best use some of that information. Eliana, would you mind running that second poll question?
Not at all. All right, David. Second poll question is on the screen now, audience. We'd love it, again, if you take part in our poll question. Now, I know there's a lot of you out there, so let's see if we can get 100% all participating in our poll question. All right, the question is, do you currently incorporate paid search into your digital marketing strategy? Please select one of the following answers. Yes, and it's working great for us. Yes, but we aren't seeing the results we would like. Not yet, but we're thinking about it. No, you know what, we used to do that, but we just couldn't justify the ROI. Or no, we rely heavily on organic traffic and SEO. Once we get a majority of the votes in, we're going to close the poll and share the results. And by the way, Dave, I wanted to share a quick comment that came in from one of our listeners, Clinton, who wrote in, "I'm so glad you're here today, Eliana. Thank you to everyone at DealerOn, and especially to David for this webinar. It's great so far." Thank you so much, Clinton. That was so nice of you to say.
Thanks.
I know, right? It's totally nice. All right, we got some nice people out there. All right, votes are still coming in. Audience, you guys are doing great. Okay, so do you currently incorporate paid search into your digital marketing strategy? Yes, it's working great for us. Yes, but we're not seeing the results we'd like. Not yet, but we're thinking about it. No, we used to, couldn't justify the ROI, or no, we rely heavily on organic traffic and SEO. Dave, you give me the word and I will close this poll and share the results, because we do have a lot of people who have voted already.
Yeah, well, let's see what everyone's saying.
All right, audience, thank you so much for your votes. That was our final poll question for today. Let me share the results with you now. 64% of today's audience, the majority, say yes, they do incorporate paid search into their digital marketing strategy, and it is working great for them. 64%, that's awesome. 21% of today's audience said yes, they do paid search, but they're not seeing the best results that they would like. Maybe that's why they're here today. 5% of today's audience said not yet, but they're thinking about it. 8% of today's audience said no, we used to, couldn't justify the ROI. And 3% of today's audience say they rely heavily on organic traffic and SEO. David, any comments on that? Should we be doing paid search? We should, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's again, it's people that are going into Google and specifically typing, I want to buy what you have at your store to sell me. So it's some of the lowest hanging fruit that's out there. And I love hearing the 65 happy with the results so far. I mean, there's always opportunity to keep getting better, and I hope that some of the strategies that we're going to talk about here in this, this half of the presentation can help you get better and can help you continue to build upon what you have. But really what we see is, again, we do a lot of these analyses, is that dealerships often don't have their paid search strategies built and developed in a way that incorporates the data from SEO and has a content-driven strategy to create the better results. And that's really important, is having content affect your paid search. And why is that so important? And I'm going to explain a little bit about why quality score of your keywords and of your paid search campaigns is so important. But according to WordStream here, I mean, about 39% of the overall quality score that goes into your paid search campaigns is a result of your landing page experience and how relevant your landing page is to what people typed in and in their search. Again, what Google's trying to do is they're trying to create a great user experience for everyone who uses Google so that people keep coming back. And they're trying to make a lot of money, so they want the paid search results to be relevant to what people are searching for, so more and more people click on paid search results. I mean, kind of a no-brainer when you think about it, but because that's the case, they're going to reward all the different people who are doing things right and building their results around a great landing page experience that matches the search. And other components of this, I mean, click-through rate and how relevant the ad is to the search as well. But again, landing page experience being so critical to get your quality scores up. So why is quality score so important? Because basically, the ad position where you show up in search is going to be the result of what your quality score is multiplied by how much you're willing to bid. So to give an example here, I mean, if you have a 1 out of 10 quality score, you'll be paying $10 for the same position that someone who has a 10 out of 10 quality score can pay $10. So Einstein teaching us here on this slide, I mean, look at, quality scores 5 out of 10, which is where we see so many dealers within their AdWords accounts, sitting in that 5 or 6 out of 10 range in quality scores. So they're paying twice as much money as dealers who have 9 out of 10s and 10 out of 10s for the same kind of position. And so creating that higher quality score means that you can lower your cost dramatically. You want to build out campaigns that look like this. This is a Toyota store that we work with down in Texas. And it's just great to see that these kind of results are possible, where you can have 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10 for all sorts of different searches. Because, again, you want to build all your paid search campaigns in a way that is built around, around the local market, all that keyword research that we talked about before. All these things we're doing organically so we can rank with better SEO and have that organic presence. Let's drive those people to the same pages because that's that user experience that they want. We're building our pages around, who the consumer is and what the consumer wants. And so there's great opportunity to increase your efficiencies. And so we want to look at, still the same kind of things as before. What's our, cost per lead? That's going to be really, to me, that's still the most important factor when we look at paid search. But let's drive that cost per lead down by really focusing on quality score. What can we do to create great quality scores within our campaigns? One of the questions that, I like to ask people is, do you own your AdWords account? Do you have access to see these results? Every dealership should own their AdWords account. If you look at Google's terms of use, every dealership has the right to own that. It's your business. Own your own AdWords account. Make sure it's integrated with your Google Analytics. Make sure that you're able to hold your vendors and your agency partners accountable for the results that are driving, and ask these questions. Ask what your impression share is on the keywords. If you feel like the keywords that you have built are extensive and you have hundreds of keywords and hundreds of ad groups and all sorts of things that create a robust campaign that's built around that user experience and that local demand, what is your impression share? What's your share of voice in the market for that, knowing that you have a robust campaign that works? And if you feel great about the ROI, then you want to ask, how much are you losing of that impression share? Your lost impression share is one of my favorite statistics in all of paid search. And because I want to know, okay, if I am showing up for 80% of searches in my market and I'm happy with the ROI with my cost per lead, what about the other 20% that I'm not showing up for? Am I not showing up for due to rank because my quality score stinks? or am I not showing up due to budget? And maybe I should increase my budget because I'm seeing the ROI I want, and I want more of that. I want more sales. I want more leads. I want more phone calls. Look at these different KPIs. Know what they mean. You're spending dealers across the country a ton of money in paid search. Are we getting the results that we want out of our vendors? Are we able to hold them accountable? I mean, with the investment that we're making, understand what these different KPIs mean. These different key performing indicators. What's your click-through rate? What's your conversion rate? So things like cost per click, I honestly don't worry about as much because I'm more focused on leads and cost per leads and cost per, creating engagement and what the shopping behavior is with my Google Analytics integration. But know these different terms and hold your vendors accountable. Ask them these questions. Again, what is the quality score of your campaign? And I added a bonus slide here. This happened right around a month ago. Google made a pretty major change to their AdWords layout. So one of the things that ask all dealers that ask their paid search providers is, have you made the change? Have you moved over to the new AdWords layout? Because we used to have just one 25-character headline. The top part here that's purple in this example. Now you can have two 30-character headlines, which dramatically increases the amount of things that you can say to better the ad relevance and make it more relatable to the search that's going on. And then there used to be two 35-character description lines. Now you can just have one long 80-character description line, and that allows you to have, again, 10 more characters, and then you have an additional 35 characters with your new headline. You can say so much more than you ever used to say before. That you want to make sure that your paid search partners are doing this, that you're getting all this visibility. Remember when I talked about how important landing pages were just a few slides back? One of the other major components was the click-through rate in determining what your quality score is. And so when you build a really great paid search ad, you want to make sure your paid search providers are doing this for you, where they're doing these new expanded text ads. That's what they're called, the new layout, the ETAs. They have full range there, two 30-character lines, the whole 80-character description line, and then all sorts of extensions. In this example, we have a phone number extension, we have an address extension, we have some call-out extensions, we have hours in here, we have site links. Look at all the opportunity within this kind of ad that you can, get that click. And as click-through rate goes up and you do those kind of things, that increases your quality score, you pay less money, and again, you're creating a better user experience. So are you updated with ETAs? Do you have all these different extensions and opportunities for people to call you or know where to go, look at your hours and directions? Go to different pages within the site. Ask your provider, do some searches and see how you're showing up. And if you're not showing up for this, then find out why they're not doing that for you, because they should, and you're going to pay less money because your quality score is going to go higher when you have all these things in play. So I want to go through, just like we did on the SEO side, with a couple examples of some of the paid search complexities here. We want our ads to be relevant. That last component of the quality score was how relevant our results were and our ads were to what the search is. So I've got 3 different searches here, and pardon, this slide is a little bit more blurry than I remember it being, but we have a search for Chevy Nova, which we should not show up for, because you want to make sure that your dealership is putting words like Nova in as a negative, so you don't show up. But we show up in the top position for that ad in this specific example. One of the dealers that we did that analysis for. And then we have a Chevy Silverado for sale with the exact same ad and the exact same call to action here too. And then Chevy oil change coupon. There are paid search providers out there that are doing this that have, again, if you look at their result, it's the same exact headline there. It's not built with any extensions. So you're not building and tailoring your ads around what people want. So your quality score for these kind of results just stinks, and you're going to be paying 3, 4, 5 times as much money as if you build out these much more complex paid search examples. And again, we talked about the negative keywords. You want to make sure that your paid search provider is putting in words like Nova as a negative keyword, or that's always a hard one because Abraham Lincoln. Abraham definitely should be a negative keyword. Lincoln Theaters, all that kind of stuff. Honda motorcycles is a big one. BMW, same thing. Do we have all these negative keywords in so we're not wasting money? And again, when you're looking through all your results here, you can see all this. When you have your integration with analytics, you can see, and you have your access to, to your own AdWords account, you can see every single search term that you pay for. And one of the things that I urge all the dealerships across the community is, just every month or 2 months or 3 months, find some time, spend half hour, and just look through your search terms and see, are you wasting money on these kind of things? Because a lot of dealerships are, and it's kind of frustrating that we're not doing a better job as an industry in creating these great paid search ads, but it's possible to do. Hold your vendor accountable, have the information, own your AdWords account and integrate it with analytics, and you're going to win more than you lose. And so, finishing up that paid search conversation. Yeah, you like these guys, don't you, Eliana?
I just want to let people know I have never actually seen a car salesman that looks like that. So,
yeah.
If this guy actually exists, I want to know what state he's in.
I can't remember what movie this was from. It was I can't remember where I found this one, but it's funny though. It's one of the things that I hear so often, I've heard for years and years and years, is that clicks don't buy cars. And that's absolutely the case. So, we build this strategy around the user experience. We build all of our content. We have SEO rocking and rolling. We got these great, robust, complex paid search campaigns, and we're driving a lot of clicks to the websites. But again, clicks don't buy cars. Clicks don't sell cars. But what they do is they represent actual people. They're not just clicks. They are people that are going to your website and expecting a certain user experience. So we want to turn those clicks into shoppers. And how do we do that? We want to measure the success of all of our campaigns in SEO and SEM and anything else that's driving traffic to our website with Google Analytics. How do we determine what they're doing, and how do we get them to do more shopping behavior kind of things? So the very first thing is we want to make sure we're using clean data. There's a lot of spam that can pollute your data and pollute your perspective. So in this example here, GA ignore, keywords monitoring your success here. These are spam, referral traffic that's not actual people, not actual clicks. We want to filter those things out. It's showing 100% bounce rate for both of those things. So this specific website, this dealership, when we're looking at their Google Analytics, they're like, gosh, I'm only, people are spending less than 2 minutes on my site. They're bouncing, leaving the site 60% of the time, not going any further. But really, dealers, look at what your Google organic traffic is doing, because that's going to give you the best representation of how your site actually performs. Look at that. They think, when they look at it in the aggregate, that 60% of people are bouncing, but that's because the spam data is giving them all sorts of confusion and bad data. Google Organic, less than 30% are bouncing. They're going to 5.5 pages on their site. They're doing a lot of shopping behavior metrics. This is a well-performing site, but they didn't think so because they weren't filtering out data. And there's so much referral spam out there. There's so much, every single week we need to go through, and unfortunately, and add different filters into our Google Analytics to make sure that we're getting clean data. This is happening like crazy. Google understands it's a problem. They're doing a good job of helping out too, but understand that what you're looking at could be polluted if you're not filtering out your data. So real quick, how you do that, you go into the admin section of your Google Analytics, you go into the view for your website, you click on filters, and then you add different filters. And what we like to recommend is, sorry about that, we'll filter out all the spam traffic, and also any agencies or vendor partners or at the dealership, filter out those IP addresses too, because you don't want people in aggregate who are going to your site polluting your data. You want to know what your shoppers are doing. Just filter down to we're only looking at shoppers, and let's use that information to measure conversions. And so how do we do that? Again, separating and segmenting out where we're not just looking at clicks, we're looking at shoppers. We want to think about what the purpose of our website is, and we want to make sure that the traffic on our website is doing what it's supposed to do. So again, while we're in that admin section and filtering out things, under that same view, we can set up different goals. And we want to be measuring things like how many people are looking at our CPO inventory and our new car inventory, used car inventory, how many people are scheduling service, how many people are calling the dealership on their mobile device, how many people are submitting leads. If we are looking at just how many people are making phone calls and emails, we're forgetting about 90% or more in almost every case of people that are going to our website, because so many people are just going straight to the dealership and they're not submitting a lead. Now, we want to get that and reach out to them. We want them to submit a lead. We're going to make every effort to do that looking at some of this data. But how do we know if they're shopping? the more people that look at your inventory, the more people who are virtually kicking tires, the more cars you're going to sell, the more people are going to show up on the lot, the more we're going to increase our lot traffic. So here's some recommended goals for everybody. Here's the kind of things that we look at that really truly demonstrate shopping behavior on the website. Included as an attachment to this presentation, Eliana has a handout for you that we created that shows you exactly how to goals. So look for that, download that. If you watch this after the webinar is over, shoot an email, and then we can get you that the setup here. It's really important that as you're holding your vendors accountable, that you're making sure that that these kind of things are set up so you can be measuring shopping behavior and not just looking at clicks. Things like new use CPO, vehicle detail page views, website leads, how many people are clicking the call from your SRPs, your VDPs, your search result pages, how many people are chatting if you have a chat provider. That's a great way to measure shopping behavior. Finance leads, trade appraisal leads, scheduled service page views. You can add more than these. These are ones that we set up just kind of as a benchmark. You can have up to 20. So are people doing on your website what you want them to do? So then you look at Google Analytics, and it's about understanding it's not just this overview dashboard of many dealers that we talk to. I mean, this is as far as they go when they're trying to see, what's going on their website. Yeah, I've got, 30,000 sessions, and, the bounce rate looks good. To me, this doesn't tell me really anything. I want to take a look at a few different reports here, and here's some recommended ones that, I urge all of you to look at. GMs maybe on a monthly basis. I mean, e-commerce directors, internet managers, marketing directors, more regularly than that. But there's, again, when we set up these goals, and then we can see what the conversion rate is of all your traffic that's coming in. This is a great way to hold vendors accountable, see where there's opportunities, see where you can fix things, see how you should update and change your strategy. I'll give you a couple examples here as we get near closing out. So this is the source medium report, and what we're looking at here is all the different sources that are driving traffic to our website. Again, Google Organic, paid search, all sorts of different things, email campaigns, social media, third-party providers like Loudlinks and others. What are they doing on the website? And then when we come over to the right side of this report, we look at conversions. We can see what the conversion rate is of people from these different sources that are actually converting into those goals that we set up. And we know these are shoppers. We want more of these people. And then, if your paid search provider is not creating a goal conversion rate that's similar to your organic, then you're probably wasting a lot of money on keywords and queries that aren't true shoppers. Again, this is a great way across the board that you can measure success and get a better ROI for what are we doing on the website to create shopping behavior. Again, I mentioned before, you want to have your Google AdWords integrated with your Google Analytics, and then you can look at all your different campaigns that you have set up. You can look at the goal conversion rate for each. You can make sure you're not overspending in certain areas. You can try to better determine, are we taking people to the right landing pages? Do we need to create more landing pages because it's not given the user experience that we want to build? Hold your paid search providers accountable by understanding what is actually happening on the website. And it's, again, paid search is not just about phone calls and email leads. Because if we think about it that way, we're not thinking about how many people are going to our website and shopping our inventory and kicking tires and looking at maybe 8, 9, 10 different pages worth of vehicles. I mean, that kind of shopper is just as likely to buy someone that's going to make a phone call. And the more that we can create a better experience on our website where they're shopping on our website and doing more of those things, we're going to sell more cars because we're going to increase that likelihood that enough people are seeing our inventory and are compelled to come in. This is one of my favorite ones, Eliana, looking at your paid search strategy and where you should be targeting, and your organic strategy, what kind of keywords you want to use on the SEO side. For this particular dealer, kind of building that from the beginning, what does your SEO strategy look like? What does your paid strategy look like? Where should we get people? They say, well, Boston, we have, that's the city that drives the second most clicks to our website. We got New York driving, 2,036. Boston has 381. But we look at the goal conversion rate on the side. New York is converting at 47%, which is 7% higher than the average goal conversion rate for their website. Boston is converting at 8%. And if we were looking at just clicks and we built a strategy around Boston where it's converting at 8%, then we're going to miss out on so much opportunity instead of looking at things like, look at Jersey City, the seventh most traffic city to the website, that converts at 48% almost. I mean, the highest of any city in geography.
Wow.
When you have your shopping set up like that, and this is the cool stuff. I mean, this is, we geek out a little bit about data, but let's change our strategy because we're building a strategy around shopping behavior and not just clicks. It's so important, and the dealers that do this well are the dealers that are winning now. Your landing page, your pages
but
report.
wait, David, how can you? Is there a course you can take on shopper behavior? I mean, how do you learn shopper behavior? And wouldn't shopper behavior be different, like depending on what city you're in and what part of the country?
Oh yeah, and it varies dramatically, and that's where we recommend. I mean, taking a look at and thinking about what is the purpose of my website and what are we trying to get people to do. Largely we want them to look at inventory. We want them to look at specials. We want to, make sure that they are doing things on our website that are showing engagement and, that they're shopping for cars. They're virtually kicking tires. So when we set up all those goals and then we look at this goal conversion rate, we're able to see that they are doing those things. And the more that they're doing those things, the more engagement they're showing, the more cars we're going to sell because they're seeing more inventory. Just like when someone goes, before when people used to go to 5, 6, 7 dealers, physically and not virtually. Now they're going
like
to
15 years ago. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and it's I remember starting. I mean, way before starting working at a dealership way before all this stuff has been going on, and internet was still very new. Websites were still very new.
I remember shopping for a car at different dealerships, and I actually brought the newspaper with me. I remember doing that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, newspapers. I saw that in the museum here, I think, last week. But
people don't do that anymore.
Well, what's changed though, and the way that I like to look at it is, I mean, if you had, when people were going to all these dealerships physically, and you had 20 people looking at a specific car at a dealership, then you're going to probably sell that car, right? I mean, if you have that many people that are there looking at the car, the thing is now they're making their decision online. They're going to, 1.5 dealerships now physically. They're making their decision online. So if you can get more people looking at the inventory online, it's the same kind of people. They're still making their decision. They're going to come in, and they're even more likely to buy because they've already made the decision they want the car. So what can we do to increase the shopping behavior on the site? Get more people looking at inventory, get more people engaged. And when we use all this data that's available, then we're going to sell more cars because we're getting better shopping behavior. So, the whole, bringing everything all kind of together here, we build all these pages around what the search demand is. We're creating that better user experience, so we're going to get, a greater share of voice and more visits organically. We're going to get a more efficient paid search campaign, again, because we're building this around what people want to see, and then we're measuring that they are, in fact, going through and converting and becoming shoppers. When we do that, not only are we increasing the traffic, we're increasing our conversion rate, and then we are significantly increasing, our phone calls, our leads, and our lot traffic. So, kind of finishing up, I mean, that's what we want to accomplish: more traffic and better conversion. So, some resources I have for you. We've got actually a really great blog with a lot of different ideas that are going on. readmarketing.com/blog. I like looking at search engine land for a lot of the SEO. And SEM elements. Wordstream.com has a really great blog also for SEM outside of auto. These are 2 non-auto ones that gives you a larger perspective. I really like automotive. Digitalmarketing.com, and of course, Eliana, your webinar series is one of the best out there. So
Thank you.
Great resources to use. What action items I'd have for all of our dealers on the show today. I mean, let's benchmark what is our local demand, understand what people want in your market, and then build that strategy, create a great content strategy around what that local demand is, and then make sure that as you're building that strategy that creates that user experience, utilize both SEO and SEM data and increase the efficiency of your digital marketing spend, and increase your website leads by measuring your shopping behavior with Google Analytics. Let's drive a whole lot more traffic again, more people to our website, more in-market shoppers, better user experience, and then let's make sure that we are increasing our shopping behavior by setting up these goals. And when we're doing that, we're looking at reporting, and regularly tracking our success. We're going to continue to see increases. We're going to continue to get better. This data is so powerful. So few dealers are using it. Such a big opportunity out there. So with that, Eliana, I'm going to pass it back to you. Hope everyone enjoyed a lot of the stuff and talk through some questions, answers, and some other items.
That's right, David. Don't you go anywhere. We got some questions from you, some really great questions that came in from the audience. And audience, if you haven't gotten in your question yet for Dave Sponicky from Reunion Marketing, now is the time. Think of those questions. Get them in now. He is here, and he is ready to help you unify your SEO and SEM for more leads and more sales. Let's do this. All right, before we go to the questions, though, we got a couple things to tell you. First of all, I want to direct everyone's attention over to the handouts section of the GoToWebinar interface. In there, you're going to see two handouts today. One of them is Dave's slide deck from today that you just saw. So you can download that if you'd like. The second one is a great handout. It's a PDF, and it is how to set up Google Analytics goals. Yes. Sounds very important. You guys should all be downloading that right now. That handout section will be available to you until the very end of the broadcast. So take this moment now to get those handouts downloaded when you can. Now, before we go any further, yes, it is that time. If you missed it at the beginning of the webinar, I announced that our good friends over at Reunion Marketing, they're giving away a super cool, awesome, tremendous prize today. One lucky webinar attendee is going to win an Amazon Echo. I got to tell you, wait. I have one of these. It is really cool. And by the way, makes a great gift, and kids love it too. So you're going to definitely want one of these. Get ready. Get to your keyboards, everyone. First person to write in the correct response to our giveaway question will be winning this awesome prize today. Now, before we go any further, if you are a vendor, we're going to ask you to kindly sit this one out. This prize is intended for dealership personnel only, but we love having you here. Thank you so much for checking in on the DealerOn webinars. You're always welcome, of course, every week. So thank you so much. Now, everyone else, here we go. Good luck, everyone. I hope you guys took great notes. All right, the question is, according to a recent study conducted by WordStream, what % of your quality score is based on your landing page experience? Okay, let's see if anyone got it right. That's right, Amazon Echo. Okay, oh, how nice. Brad Passel, you are our winner today. 39%. He was the first person to write in the correct response. Are we allowed to give him the prize?
Oh, yeah. He wins a lot of them. He's one of the smartest guys out there. I'm not surprised on that one at all. Nice job, Brad.
Very nice. Congratulations, Brad. Guess what, Brad? I'm going to need your mailing address. So write on in. Let me know what. No, it wasn't rigged. Oh, people are not happy that Brad won this prize.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to write in and say, congratulations, Brad, I'm sure.
Yep.
Brad, let me know. Oh, here we go. Jeff wrote in, congratulations, Brad. All right. And Jeff wrote in, I don't know who Brad is. You guys are so funny. All right, way to congratulate Brad. You should see these comments that are coming in. We all love you, Brad. Congratulations. And
no, he's a heck of a guy down there. He's a heck of a guy down there.
Just in case I didn't say the correct answer was 39%, by the way. 39% was the correct answer. So congratulations, Brad. Enjoy your Amazon Echo. And you know what? Okay, look. We only had one prize today, all right? We usually only have one prize, and today wasn't your day except for Brad. But you know what? We give away cool prizes every week, so come on back to another DealerOn webinar, and who knows? That could be the day that you win a cool prize on a DealerOn webinar. For right now, we're going to congratulate Brad on his excellent win. Thank you, everyone, for playing along, and of course, we've got to thank our good friends over at Reunion Marketing for giving away such a cool prize today. Thank you for your generosity. All right, you ready for some questions now?
All right, let's hear them.
All right, first question came in from Brett. And Brett says, can we get a printout of SEO best practices? So Dave, in all of those cool, well, it's not in the handout, but in all of those resources that you listed, were there any in there for SEO best practices for this kind of strategy?
Yeah, I mean, there's that search engine land has a really good one. It's the periodic table of SEO. We actually have a giant poster of that in our office, just as a great reminder of a whole lot of different things. I think that would probably be one of your best bets. I mean, looking at the blogs and some of those resources, it does change so often. But search engine land's periodic table of SEO is probably, I think, the best all-encompassing, view of a lot of the most important things. I mean, there's hundreds of nuances, but that's a good one, I think.
Okay, thank you for that. All right, Brett does have a follow-up question for you too. You had mentioned kind of earlier in the presentation about page speeds, and Brett wanted to know, how do you check page speeds? What do you use?
We use sometimes when we're showing dealers, we use that Google Developers tool to get some good insight, but webpagetest.org is a website that we use that is a little bit more detailed to show us all the different things that are wrong. Depending on who your CMS is, if it's DealerOn, it's a lot easier to get good page speed with those guys than some of the other ones out there. But there are limitations that come with some of those platforms to know that some of those things do happen. But webpagetest.org, or use Google and their developers tool. It'll tell you all. Look at your pages that get the most traffic on your website. Kind of start there, maybe your top 5, 10 pages. See how fast those are. Figure out ways to increase the speed for those pages. We always like to look at it. What's going to impact the most people first. But those are the 2 tools that'll do the best job.
All right, thank you so much, Brett. We hope that helped you out. If you have a follow-up question, we're always here for you. Okay, we have, I'd say, about a handful of questions left, and it's already the top of the hour. So audience, hopefully you'll stick around to hear the answers to these next few questions, all right? All right, your next question, Dave, is actually a twofer. It comes from Jeff, and Jeff says, do you suggest having someone be Google certified at the dealership, even if you end up having a third-party company running your SEO and SEM for you? And then Jeff goes on to say, also, is there a good place to get training for SEO, SEM? Thanks. Dave, what kind of information, what kind of help can you give to Jeff?
I mean, I would say, and how I started off the presentation was, talking a little bit about, spending 10 years on the dealership side. And one of the things that we required for all of our, marketing managers within the dealer group was that they had to be certified on Google Analytics at least. I think that it's really important to know what you're looking at, and it's going to give you such an edge over the competition, because most dealers are, like I said, only looking at that homepage of Google. They don't understand how it works, and that information is going to help you, again, hold your vendors accountable for what they're delivering to you, and better understand, the shopping behavior and what's happening on your website. So I would definitely recommend having someone at your dealership be certified. And then in terms of, learning this stuff, there's a few companies out there that do a pretty good job at digital marketing within the auto space. But if you really want to get great at it, you look at some of those resources outside of auto. That search engine land that I was talking about, they have 4 or 5 articles a day of great ideas, great content, and great best practices for SEO and SEM. WordStream, we have a really great blog on our website. There's a lot of information out there it's happening and changing so quickly that looking outside of our space for some of these cutting edge opportunities is going to put you to the top of our industry.
I love it. Jeff, if you have a follow-up question, we're always here for you. Thank you so much for those great questions. All right, Dave. Jeff wrote in. Thanks, Dave. All right, your next question, Dave, comes in from Brianna. What a pretty name. I just created a new campaign on AdWords, and a lot of the keywords are rated above average for ad relevance and landing page experience, but they're rated below average for expected CTR, which is really hurting the quality score. Why is the expected CTR so low?
So there's a couple things that could be happening there for you. What is your average position would be the first question I'd ask, because if your average position is really low, move that up. Mm-hmm. And then all those extensions that we talked about, you can have, again, your phone number listed in the ad. You can have your hours and directions. You can have, 4 different site links to different pages on your website. You call out extensions. all those different things are creating so many opportunities for people to click on the ad. So if those aren't built or aren't populating or aren't showing, I think those are the two things that I most typically see when that happens. It's either an average position issue or not enough extensions. I think that the average for automotive industry right now on click-through rate is between 2 and 3%. But if you build out your campaigns the right way, I mean, you can get that number, north of 10% click-through rate just by building it out that way, and then you'll see above average in all three of those categories that are important.
Wow. Okay, Brianna, good luck with that strategy, and let me know if you have a follow-up question. We're going to be closing out the show very shortly. Okay, one last question for you, Dave, unless another one comes in. Oh, Brianna says thank you so much, by the way. All right, next question comes to you from Tina. She says, oh, this is a good question. How do I know what I should spend on SEM/SEO?
Yeah, that's a great question, too.
Great question.
And so what I recommend to all of our dealers, again, is when you're looking and benchmarking what your search demand is, and you can have your providers give you a lot of that information, too. I think it's good for you to be fairly hands-on in that process also. But how many searches are happening, and build out a campaign around what those searches are. Make sure that you're getting the ROI you want from your different ads and campaign groups, and then use that impression share. That impression share number. You can get a pretty good idea, through your paid search provider of recommended spend. But in terms of what you really should be spending, what is the ROI that makes the most sense for you, and then what is your impression share, after a month of all the eligible searches you're going for, and then that'll tell you if you ROI, then spend a little bit more money to get that impression share closer to 100%. Or, if you're not happy with the ROI and the impression share is, 80% or whatever, then limit some of those keywords, stop going after it, and make your campaign to be a little bit more succinct and efficient. It's a moving target because search demand changes each month. I would tell dealers, it's a good idea to not keep the same budget month over month and change that based on the search demand that's out there. But how many searches you're showing up for, and the lost impression share that's happening is either due to budget, not spending enough, or rank, not high enough quality score. And so let the data and the results kind of dictate what you should spend, I think, because sometimes dealers will just say, well, I'm only spending X amount on paid search. But if you're getting a good ROI on something, I'd get as much ROI out of that as you can by spending what the market says is okay, as long as the results are coming in and you're getting increased shopping behavior on your site. And it's a lengthy answer. I hope that answered the question.
I hope so. Tina, do you have a follow-up question? You better hit us up pretty soon. But just so you know, Dave, is there like a formula? Like you said, hey, do the research, make it, but is there like a formula? Like, should the SEO spend and the SEM spend be kind of the same?
I would say probably not on that. I mean, you got to spend with, and it also depends on the business. For most auto dealers, I think that you're going to spend probably a lot more on AdWords than you would on SEO. I mean, there's a lot of, you want to spend money on SEO. You don't want to do some of those little one-off, you get what you pay for kind of thing for sure with SEO. You want to invest in that so that you can gain the results and increase your traffic organically and use that for the paid search campaign. Most of the time, you're going to be spending more on the paid side, unless you're a really, really small dealership. But I think that if you're looking at strategy and how to best be successful, it's just to not be satisfied and continue to look at the data and look at where there's opportunities. Where are you falling short in terms of conversion on your site? Where are you falling short in terms of where you're not ranking, or which campaigns or ad groups are not as efficient as others, and why, and how can you create a better experience? The dealers that win are the ones who, it's not there's just no magic formula. It's just always looking at the data, always looking for ways to get better, always looking for ways to improve. And if you keep doing, and you have a good partner that's helping you, or you have a good in-house team that's working for you on this and using that data, then you're going to win more often than you lose.
I love it. Hey, by the way, Tina, I didn't get a follow-up question from you, so I hope that answer was good for you. We're going to be closing out the show now. By the way, David, I wanted to let you know. Oh, Tina says, thank you so much. Tracy wrote in, and Tracy said, hold vendors accountable. Yes. Use analytics to see who's delivering. Yes. Great webinar.
Yeah.
Great webinar. By the way, the Danny DeVito pick is from the movie Matilda. So thank you for that, Tracy.
Matilda. Oh, that's right.
I
Yeah.
couldn't think of it either, although it looked familiar. Dave, you are amazing. Thank you so much. I love when even I get to learn something on a DealerOn webinar. This was awesome. Oh,
Yeah, thanks for having me as always. It's always good to talk to you.
You're brilliant. Alicia wrote in, this was my favorite webinar. What? And she said, very helpful. I agree, Alicia. Thank you so much for that. All right, Dave, I'm going to have to let you go, but please, let's see if we can get you back on the show in the new year. I'd love that. Would you be okay with that?
Yeah. Oh, I'd love to.
Oh, okay, wonderful. All right, and I'm probably going to see you over at NADA next year, right?
Oh, yeah. Yep, I'll see you there.
Okay, good. Let's discuss then, all right? In the meantime, if anyone wants to get a hold of Dave, all of his contact information is on the screen now. As you can tell, he is brilliant, very well qualified, and it's a pretty nice guy, too, as you can also see. So don't ever hesitate to reach out to Dave at Reunion Marketing. He's always there for you, and he's always there to help anyone who wants or needs help with their SEM. All right. Right now, though, I want to let everyone know, yes, I'm recording this webinar, and I'm going to be sending out a link to the recording. You can also find it online within 24 hours. All you have to do is go to DealerOn.com/webinar to view our upcoming webinars, register for those, or access any of our past webinars, too. And, yeah, we're going to be closing out this webinar, and when we do, we're going to be sending out a short survey. So please fill it out. We'd love to know what you have to say about today's presentation. I want to know what you thought about Dave's presentation. I thought it was brilliant, but what do you think? So please, it's short, it's 6 questions, and we'd really appreciate it if you could get those opinions out there, okay? And invitations will be going out tomorrow for our next DealerOn webinar, 5 onboarding best practices that save time and money. Leading dealerships recognize that your most valuable asset isn't the cars on your lot. It's the employees in your dealership. Yet incredibly, according to the 2015 NADA Dealership Workforce Study, 28% of all terminations happen within the first 90 days of employment. Furthermore, companies which indicated having no formal onboarding process to train new hires reported a staggering employee turnover rate upwards of 60%. As an industry, we got to ask, when it comes to recruiting and hiring qualified employees, what are we doing wrong, and how can we fix it? In this incredible 1-hour webinar, Hireology CEO Adam Robinson will discuss why 72% of your sales staff will turn over in the new year 2017, and why properly onboarding millennials is critical to your dealership's retention rate. Since employee turnovers cost every dealership time and money, his eye-opening presentation will focus on the tactical aspects of creating and establishing a comprehensive onboarding process that will swiftly reduce the current dealership turnover rate, dramatically increase employee productivity, loyalty, and morale within the workplace, and ultimately save you time and money. Now that's what we call a win-win-win. If you want to know how to get your dealership new hires ready to hit the ground running on day 1, and you're ready to learn the 5 onboarding best practices to save time and money, then this is the webinar you simply can't afford to miss. So register now, and don't forget, DealerOn's weekly webinars are held Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific. You got questions, comments, or suggestions about our webinars and our topics? Hey, contact me directly. Again, my name is Eliana Raggio, and I'd love to hear from you. So you can track me down online. I'm everywhere. Facebook, Twitter, Google+. I'm on all the automotive social networks. Or you know what? You can just email me directly at eliana@dealeron.com. Thank you all so very much for spending this time with us today, and I hope to see you all on another webinar in DealerOn's continuing education series. Take care.